Hi, Disneylanders with special needs. This is Ashley Jones coming at you with another video today. So let's dive right in. Per request from somebody called Cats of Legends, another person who watched and commented on one of my videos, per his request, we will be talking about Fantasyland today. So, before I start the video, can I please have everybody who is watching my videos, please comment, subscribe, view, ask questions, and do whatever is necessary to help please make these videos a smashing success for everybody, as most of them have been really big successes so far. Thank you to those who are already subscribed, liked, and watched. Please hit the bell icon to keep receiving notifications and news when I upload a new video. So okay, let's get into this today. Okay, so I have to look at my script a couple times because I did write the information down before I did this video so that I would be as accurate as possible. So, the first fact for Fantasyland that I have coming with this video is that Fantasyland is located across the way from Main Street, USA in Disneyland. Fantasyland was an opening day land in Disneyland on July 17th, 1955, when it reopened. Opened. You can walk through the Sleeping Beauty Castle walkthrough on the bottom level, so the main walkway, and you can get there by going through Main Street to get to the castle walkthrough and walk into Fantasyland. So when Fantasyland did officially open in 1955, it was relatively really small back at that point when it first opened. There were some attractions, but not near as many as there is now. So let me get into what the current attractions are. If you don't know about a certain attraction or want to look at past attractions that are no longer there, you can look them up on Disney Ride Histories, either on YouTube or Google search. I'm just going into what is currently inside the land today. So in the present. So now we have a ride called, the first one I'm going to cover is Alice in Wonderland. Alice in Wonderland was opened in 1958. So no, it is not a 1955 original attraction like most people think. In 1957, I think they started working on it to get it ready for 1958. Alice in Wonderland also has a little bit more of a different track layout, as well as different artwork than there was originally. A lot of things have not changed, on the other hand, in that ride. But the audio sounds much better than it used to be too, thanks to speaker and ride enhancements. The next one I'm going to talk about, and you will see me looking down at my script for this video, because unfortunately, this one is going to require me to look at the years it was open, and if it's still in Fantasyland currently. So, next we have the Casey Jr. Circus train. It's not that far from the Storybook Land Canal boats, which I'll talk about soon. The Casey Jr. train actually plays the Casey Jr. song for the whole ride on the Casey Jr. Circus train. They're comprised of some little tiny cages and some open ride vehicles on the ride. There also happens to be a few scenes where it seems that you're going to go to another attraction nearby called It's a Small World. You do kind of go around or on a track where the train is going, but you will not actually go through the attraction on the Casey Jr. train. That's for newbies to know that have never been to Disneyland or Fantasyland in that matter. The next one I'm going to talk about is Dumbo. Dumbo, or Dumbo the Flying Elephant, is indeed a 1955 original attraction at Disneyland. Dumbo the Flying Elephant has a pulling little system that you could push up your little elephant or push it down if you don't like to go up a little higher. It's not a fast ride and it's very relaxing, but it's whimsical and fun. It's definitely, especially if you have little kids, Dumbo will be a great ride for the whole family. Sorry, looking at the script again. It's a Small World was actually not an opening attraction for Fantasyland or Disneyland in 1955. It's a Small World was officially opened in 1966, and it is maybe the third or fourth to last attraction that Walt Disney himself personally helped put together. I believe he got to see it as it opened and wrote it before he passed. And also he talked to these guys that he really liked, called the Sherman Brothers, who wrote the scores for many Disney rides and projects. So they wrote the song It's a Small World. So next time you have It's a Small World stuck in your head for the rest of the day, you can think Walt Disney's buddies, the Sherman Brothers. I actually really love the song and what it represents, and I love the ride. So I'm one of those who does not get annoyed very easily. So, otherwise, if you do think you're going to get the song stuck in your head and are going to hate the ride, maybe it's not for you. But you shouldn't, make fun of others or say any negative comments about this classic ride. Because without Walt Disney and the Sherman Brothers, also for some of the design artwork, an artist named Mary Blair designed much of the artwork that you see on and off the ride. So now I'm going to move on to another attraction. The King Arthur Carousel was put into Fantasyland, opening in 1955, so it's original. The carousel is really beautiful if you haven't seen it before. The carousel has a lot of horses on it, and they're very beautifully painted. The only thing that is a little hard for me, because I told you in the last few videos how short I am, it is very hard to get up on the horses sometimes, and hard to get down for people with special needs or people at a certain height. I have trouble especially getting down, because sometimes the horses will end up being much higher up, so you need help getting down. I'll tell you a funny story. I don't know how many years ago this was, but one year, my mom and my grandma were at Disneyland together, and my grandma absolutely loved the King Arthur carousel. She was trying to get off the carousel, but as she did, the horses stopped up way too high for my grandma, and she couldn't get down on her own. Plus, she was laughing so hard that she couldn't have gotten down if she tried. So, she had to have help getting off the carousel. So, if you're going to need help with getting off and on this carousel, as well as the seatbelt restraint, which is kind of like a pants belt, including that little metal part of the buckle that you put into the hole to fasten the belt on this ride, you may want to bring a party or a member with you on the ride to let them help you off and on. I started being much better about fastening the belt on the ride to myself, because I'm still having to use the seat belt because of my height, because my feet don't reach the requirement to where I'm not allowed to take off my seatbelt. Yeah, surprise, I'm 5'1", and I have to use the seatbelt system on the carousel still to this day. And I'd recommend doing it for anybody that can still use the belt system too. Because one wrong move, and if you slip and slide, you could get hurt. So if you can still use the belt system on the King Arthur carousel, please do that for your safety. The next thing I'm going to talk about, sorry, the camera moved, is the Mad Tea Party. The Mad Tea Party is what almost everybody affectionately calls the teacups. The Mad Tea Party was an original attraction in 1955 and opened with Disneyland that year. The Mad Tea Party is a lot of fun, except if you have really bad problems with dizziness, upset stomachs for a while after you eat, or are sensitive to spinning objects, you may want to bypass this ride, because just getting sick on there is not going to be any fun. And in order to clean up, somebody's stuff that maybe they got sick on the ride, Disneyland will have to stop the ride up to a couple hours and clean all these rides that people get sick on. So it's not the best thing to go on there right after you eat. So please be careful, Disneylanders with special needs, going on the teacups or the Mad Tea Party, as it's properly named. Excuse me for that. Okay. Mr. Toad's Wild Ride is also a 1955 opening attraction in Fantasyland at Disneyland. Mr. Toad's Wild Ride is a really nice ride, but it does have a few scenes in it that might scare young children especially, but those with special needs that are children or some adults that may have less, less of a time understanding certain things and what the attraction means, might get scared by it. On Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, there is a scene where you go from being room temperature on the ride, and it's nice and air conditioned, to feeling hot all of a sudden. Almost like you're walking into a heater. It's because of this scene in Mr. Toad's Wild Ride when supposedly, this is the story I still get from people, that you're actually going into what the ride operators named as heck instead of the other word, and you can put two of those together and think about what the other word they can't say is. It gets very hot all of a sudden, and many people regard that part of the ride as being scary because of the character. You see the judge that says guilty and also looks really menacing and angry. Otherwise, the ride is great, and I highly recommend it. The next ride I'm going to talk about is Peter Pan's Flight. Peter Pan's Flight was also an opening day attraction for Fantasyland in 1955. Peter Pan's Flight is a great ride, but it gets such long wait times that some people say, is it really worth the wait time to go on Peter Pan's Flight? I would say yes, because it doesn't actually, have too many thrills, but it's a beautifully done ride where you're in these, like, boat-style flying vehicles that go up over the ride scenes. You're not really outside or anything. You're not actually flying in mid-air on a boat. You are indeed inside a show building the whole time. These ride vehicles are very calm and do not do any sudden drops and dips that could, scare you really bad. So this ride is perfect for everybody. It has all the characters you know from Peter Pan for the most part. Of course, it has Peter Pan. It has Captain Hook. You see Wendy and the other kids from the movie. And you see the Big Ben clock that it has from London in there. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is Pinocchio's Daring Journey. This time again, many people thought Pinocchio's Daring Journey was an opening attraction in 1955. It is not. It came much later than that, believe it or not. Pinocchio's Daring Journey officially opened in 1983, along with the newly enhanced version at the time, which was called New Fantasyland. New Fantasyland is really nice because now that they've got the buildings looking better and everything, it is... Sorry, my light is going in and out of the video, so I'm trying to see why I'm losing so much light. Now that's better. You can see me much better now. Pinocchio's Daring Journey is not really all that scary, except for when you see, and I'm trying to remember the villain's name in Pinocchio. I think his name is Stromboli. He's really, mean to Pinocchio and all the other little boys that go to Pleasure Island. And he turns them into donkeys. And in the ride, you do hear some of the noises that from that kind of scene. And you do eventually get into a much nicer part of the ride just before it ends. You hear the blue fairy in the ride too. And you see some little flashes of light in it, that part. The ride is great for families. It's not too scary or intimidating. Disneylanders with special needs, most likely you will need help getting on and off of the vehicles for Pinocchio's daring journey because of the way the boat system is, as well as making sure you're safe and sitting down at the right time. Also, when the ride lifts off to go up, some people do get scared, but don't make the same mistake as some people do and do not stand up. You'll not only be told to sit back down, but you could possibly make the ride stall for a specific amount of time it takes to get the ride vehicles moving again. So please just do what the rules say. Sit, relax, keep your hands, arms, legs, and feet in the ride at all times, and have a good time. So, now I'm going into what I would say is the most controversial ride in Fantasyland. And you'll see why I say that in the next few minutes or so. Snow White's Scary Adventures is what it was recently named until now. They're going to now call it Snow White's Enchanted Wish. So it's officially already had the name change. And they're redesigning a lot of the artwork and other stuff for the ride. I think it's controversial to me and other classic Disney ride lovers because I think for Snow White's Enchanted Wish, I think it's going to become kind of a babyish ride in some ways. And a lot of people I hear talking to me I'm not the only one to say that. Yeah, some of the scenes in Snow White's Scary Adventures were supposed to be a little frightening and scary to certain people. That's why the ride was called Snow White's Scary Adventures. It was the appropriate name for it. When it was Snow White's Scary Adventures, the scenes, the only ones that scared me is when the witch would come out at weird intervals. And sometimes I wasn't ready for the door to open all of a sudden in the forest scene. Or I was looking around at all the other props and stuff. Boy, when she opens that door, you do nothing but actually think, oh my gosh, that's creepy. And it lasts for a few seconds. And before you have a chance to say what happened, it's gone. And you move on to the next part in the ride. The witch does have a really creepy, laugh. And she is really ugly when she turns into the evil witch. I don't know exactly what this Snow White's Enchanted Wish is going to do in terms of keeping some of the old scenes or not. So are you happy about this decision to change the ride Disneylanders with special needs? Or are you kind of like me and a few other people that are kind of like, do we really need to change this again? So comment down below about what you think. Okay. My last one I'm going to talk about in this Fantasyland video is called Storybook Land Canal Boats. The Storybook Canal Boat is also a 1955 opening day attraction for Disneyland. The Storybook Canal Boats in Fantasyland has you on these little canal boats while you go around in the water with other people on the boat with you. I forgot how many it fits because they're like in a bench system. I bet when social distancing is going to be done and everything, they'll probably just be able to put like 2 to 5 people on one boat this time. Not as many as there used to be due to social distancing COVID-19 protocols. Also, you can share your opinions about what you're thinking about this COVID-19, virus, and how frustrated you are about some things that have been off limits and what may be off limits when Disneyland officially reopens. Sorry, my eyes and my nose are itching a little because I have allergies and stuff is kicking up today, obviously. So going back into the Storybook Canal Boats, you actually at one point go into the mouth of Monstro the whale from Pinocchio into that scene. This part is one of the only parts that may actually scare those with special needs, small children, and also baby toddlers. Now, the ride itself is not scary. So, if your kids act like they're a little afraid of Monstro the whale in that part, just reassure them that that's the only thing that actually might scare them at all, if at all. Okay, that's going to be it for this video. Cats of Legends, thank you for your video request. And I will be back to talk to you possibly in a little bit or in the next few days. So have a good day, Disneylanders with special needs. Bye.